So if I can get approval of the August the 11th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes, it's in your packet. Should have looked it over already. Can I get a motion?
Motion with a change.
Motion, change? Okay. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. All right, Councilman Hill. Go ahead, change.
On the minutes, where it says mayor discussion, the votes that are called CN, HN, GY, there should be names there, not initials. And then it was discussion and it's in a couple of paragraphs. Municipal complex.
Call for the vote.
You
Okay.
got
Yeah, we'll change it.
Voted was called CN, HN, GY, AY. Should be
Okay.
names.
Yeah, we'll,
And then the next two were the same way, so let me
Right.
clear that.
okay.
This is a document that should have names in it.
All right.
On that, I make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, we've got a second, Councilman Hill. Any further discussion? Councilman Fisher?
Approve.
Councilman Hill?
Approve.
Councilman Gunner? Councilman Collar?
Approve.
All right, approved. All right. All right, moving on. Approval of the meeting agenda for this evening?
Mr. Mayor, there's one addition I would like to add to the agenda tonight, is a discussion about the general election coming up.
That'll be in, Adam will be talking about that, so.
I want to make sure that it's on the
Yeah, it's
agenda.
on there. Yeah, he's
Okay.
going to talk about it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Motion by Councilman Gunner, second by Councilman Hill. Any further discussion? Councilman Fisher?
Approve.
Councilman Hill?
Approve.
Councilman Gunner? Councilman Colors?
Approve.
All right, approval of the meeting. Citizens' comments. Once again, I'll read the rules of decorum. The purpose of the rules of decorum are to foster an atmosphere of civil and courteous discourse, even and especially when discussing contentious topics at all meetings held by the City Council. All public comments should be as follows. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes during the public comment period. There will be no giving minutes to another person. Each speaker will direct his or her comments to the mayor or presiding officer and not to any other individual present. Each speaker will refrain from personal attacks, aggressive, foul, or abusive language, and will maintain a civil and courteous manner and tone. Members of the audience will respect the rights of others and will not create noise or other disturbances that will disrupt or disturb the meeting. Any violations of the rules of decorum may result in the violator being removed from the premises. Our first speaker is...
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
The comment you made about they can't give their time to someone else, who come up with that?
It's not in our ordinances.
If it's not in the
I've
ordinance.
discussed it with the lawyer.
You discussed it, but you got to discuss with this council. It's got to
Yeah,
be voted
I
on.
I run the meeting.
No, you might run the meeting, but the agenda, we put it together and vote on it. We didn't vote to do that. So unless you vote to do that, you can't do that. Attorney, speak to that.
So I would say, Councilman, for the same reason that you pointed out, your ordinances are silent to whether or not time can be donated. And without an ordinance to the contrary, the mayor, within his discretion, can run the meeting. So I would suggest at the last meeting he allowed it, but I think that's the only time I've ever seen that allowed in the city. If the council wants to allow the donation of time, my suggestion would be you change the ordinances to do that.
Well, in order to change the order, he got to change the order and do what he's doing. You can't just do it because he want to do it. He might run the meeting. That ain't the way it works. Attorney, now let's do it right.
No, I guess what I would suggest is
put it for a vote.
if there was a provision in the code that said you could not or that you had to do it, you're correct. The mayor could not keep that from happening.
But he can't do
provision,
that.
right.
So if we ain't putting it for a vote, then he can't do
Not a
that.
provision in the codes.
And if
No,
you advise him to do that, I'm gonna have a problem.
No, your code is silent to public comment.
Correct. So he
It's-
cannot silence it. Because he cannot do that.
We may disagree, and
No, we
I
might disagree,
certainly.
but you're not gonna say he got the right to do what
Okay.
he's doing.
Moving forward.
Excuse me, I
first-
need to know what, excuse me, Mayor, I need to know what the attorney advised on that right now.
He just told you.
Let him tell me again. How about that? Okay, tell me again that he.
So
got
what
the
I
right
would
to do-
suggest is if your code is silent to it, doesn't say you can or you can't, then it lies, the discretion lies with the mayor. You are correct that the council can change those rules. But if it doesn't say yes or no,
Okay.
then that lies with the person running the
Well,
meeting.
show me in documentation that the discretion is lied on the mayor to do that. You show me that, I'm good with it.
So the
If
city-
it's not in the book to do that, show me the discretion that he can do that.
So the city charter puts the conduct of meetings with the mayor.
Correct. And the council approved those, to have those meetings. We
But-
approve it, because you gotta have approval.
No, this is the
Approve the
charter.
agenda.
The charter comes
Approve
from
the
the
agenda.
legislator, right. The agenda, but my point is if you don't have it one way or the other, it's within the mayor's discretion as he runs the meetings. But if we want to allow the donation of time, those rules could be suspended based on vote. So if you made a motion to allow donation of time, voted for it, you could suspend them for that meeting. That's how you could conduct it. But moving forward, if we want to allow that, I would suggest we change our ordinances to specifically address the donation of
I
time.
suggest we do that in a meeting, but you can't, if you got somebody who wants to speak as public, we can't deny that.
Well, I
Yeah,
would
they get
suggest
3
this, at
minutes.
any time, the mayor
I'm not
could,
talking to you.
the mayor could
I'm talking
extend
to the attorney.
time. Yeah, he could.
Councilman.
Now, you the one that interrupted, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the attorney. I need clarification.
He's
so it's
giving you
a
that
document.
clarification. So moving forward, our first speaker is Nathaniel Fanning.
Ridiculous.
First, give it unto God, to the city officials, and fellow citizens. I attended the recent candidate forum at Third Shiloh. I attended the recent candidate forum at Third Shiloh. One of the candidates was very professional and put forth a comprehensive platform. The other candidate intimated that District 1 was solely lacking in the area of education. All the while, I'm sitting there looking at so many educated black folks. Unbelievable. Now, in that same vein, I am a playwright with a book of different plays and stories. I have been in discussions with Mr. Jason LeBlanc of the Little Theater about staging one of my gospel musical plays, and I have stipulated that all proceeds go to a worthy cause in this city. Now, this is the way to foster unity in Washington, Georgia. Thank you. God bless us all.
Thank you, Mr. Fanning. Reby Preston.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Preston, the wife and the owner of the Line and the Hair Electrical Contractors, a fully licensed and insured business. Today, I am not here to whisper or beg. I am here to tell you my husband is a fully licensed and insured business contractor. I demand accountability for the vicious lies and attacks that have targeted my family and our business, even our children, since the last meeting. Let's be clear, the truth shouldn't make you angry, but somehow it does. Why? Because it exposes your choices to protect your cronies instead of your sworn duty to this community. You've normalized bullying, harassment, and defamation, violating city law, state statutes, and constitutional rights to free speech. Our legal counsel calls this an easy win. I agree. You've attacked more than just us. You've assaulted the rule of law. Do any of you even understand the National Electrical Code? Any of you? My husband, a 16-year veteran of the IBEW and recipient of the Code of Excellence Award, does, along with the engineers backing him from Georgia Tech. Yet you spread falsehoods, like councilmen telling folks we weren't licensed, we're drug pushers, and we've never held credentials. Which never stopped Newt. We've been to your house. Bailey, we've been to your house, square box, square hole. Or Fisher's, accepting for charity. And the next one you called, Newt, was $800 we were free. But that's okay. This is the corruption we're fighting to end in Washington. Citizens deserve better than your favoritism. To be explicit, we're not criminals. Sean holds both full contractor license and an operating license required under NASCA. For jobs under $2,500, we have 2. Often called a handyman license under his electrical contractor license, he holds the highest electrical license you can hold, including a journeyman wireman's license to the IBEW. Sean has donated thousands to date to this community. And you know what? It's sad. From the school system to local businesses to free work for people in need, maybe some mandatory training for this council would prevent you from weaponizing ignorance to turn our neighbors against us because we spoke the truth. That's sad. As I said before, I'm a devout Christian, and I engaged you to let you know they hated him for the same reason, speaking the truth, calling it out. The only one that proves my point, God. Why waste your time shielding your friends instead of the people who elected you? Thank you.
Ms. Lovella Gartrell?
I give my 3 minutes to Reba Preston.
I'm sorry, we're not allowing that tonight. Ms. Daphne Dooley? Pass, okay. Ms. Angela Fanning?
Greetings all. For the past 2 city council meetings, Councilman Colors has been the subject of your personal attacks. You have taken the liberty to call out things posted on his personal Facebook page on his own time. Yet, in the hail of gunfire flowing from your lips, you conveniently ignored malicious and borderline criminal things you have posted on your own on-again, off-again Mayor Bruce Bailey Facebook page, which you have repeatedly used as a platform to conduct city business. Note that since you have been using this page as an official page, it is subject to the open records and also should be archived. In April of 2025, from that very same page, you created a false narrative claiming it would cost District 1 citizens $40,000 to hold a special election to replace the late Councilman Mahoney and restore equal representation to this table. In fact, the cost was half that. And had you not delayed the process by spreading misinformation, the election could have been held in June. You also claim that the process required 90 days, when the state clearly outlines 29 days to process from the call of the election. You are the mayor, not the city administrator and not the clerk. It is not your role to handle the day-to-day operations of this city. Yet, you personally collected open records requests from a citizen and processed them yourself without the knowledge of the clerk or the administrator. On Sunday, August 24th, surveillance cameras captured you entering City Hall and placing documents in the mailboxes of council members connected to that request. That is my time.
Thank you. Erica Favors?
Good evening. On September 2nd, you posted false qualifying dates for the November general election on your Mayor Bruce Bailey page, when the official qualifying period set by the Secretary of State was August 18th through 22nd, 2025. Those dates you posted were never published in the legal organ, never shared with council, and never communicated to the public. When you realized your mistake, you reached into your usual bag of tricks and deactivated your page. the same page you previously used to delay the special election, quoting, and quote, "It is crucial to understand that we cannot create or modify these rules for our elections. There are official codes from the state of Georgia as well as local government regulations," unquote. It seems you only apply the law when it suits your agenda. Unlike you, Councilman Cullors does not use his Facebook page for criminal acts such as, but not limited to, breaking open records laws, posting fraudulent documents, tampering with elections, or suppressing the voices of the African American citizens. Now, how's that for going out with a bang?
Thank you. Mr. Wiley?
Good evening.
Okay.
First of all, I want y'all sitting up there, look out here. These are the people y'all work for. This is who y'all work for. Y'all work for us. I just want to speak from my heart tonight about something every one of us deserve from our city government. And that plain, simple fairness. Government should not work for a handful of citizens, but all citizens. It shouldn't be about who you are, what race you are, or what your last name is. Government must work for all people. Every family, every neighborhood, whether District 1 or District 2, should matter. And it should matter. But here's the truth. When decisions seem to benefit the connected few or one favorite district, trust is broken. And when trust is broken, people stop believing. People stop believing in their voice, that their voice matters. They stop showing up, they stop caring. That weakens our democracy. We cannot let that happen here, not in Washington, Georgia, y'all. Fairness isn't optional. It's the foundation of good government. Fairness means open doors. It means opportunities for everyone, not just for friends or relatives of ones in power. It means transparency, total transparency, accountability. Fairness builds trust. Fairness strengthens our community. So tonight I ask that we all commit to a city government that is truly freaking fair, which also means open, transparent, and accountable. Not just for the chosen few, but for everyone. We all pay our daggone taxes here. We all get up and work every daggone morning so we can come home, turn our lights on, enjoy ourselves when we want to. It's about us, y'all. Because when the government works correctly, you don't just win. You don't just win. Y'all just don't win. We all win.
Thank you. Let's see, Ms. Anderson.
I'm just here to make an announcement about our city and our county that's going to hopefully bring some good news. I have here, and I'd like to give these out to anyone who would like them. Robin Patton has written a grant for us, and hopefully we can be able to win it. What that grant does, it will bring us music to our city. There will be 7 different bands that will come and play. It will be all kinds of music, but we have to vote for it. The deadline is September 15th. I have this. All you have to do is call the number and vote for Washington, Georgia, and that's how we will be chosen. We are competing against many, many other towns in this country, but little Washington, Georgia has a chance. So if you'd like to participate, it's for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Ms. Jan, isn't that seven bands for 3 years?
Yes.
So 21.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'll just make sure about it, because I knew that was kind of like the numbers in there.
Roxanne Cobb.
Good evening. I come on behalf of District 1 councilman, and I want to thank them for fighting so hard for my youth organization. I don't know how I got into the point of everybody sneaking, like my organization is hiding, or y'all got to investigate us, because we're open book. I don't have time to be arguing with nobody. The last 2, May and June, my organization was on the ballot like I was here, which I won't be, I should have been here. But I do want to thank y'all for fighting for me and keep fighting.
Thank you. Marion Tutt.
Mayor and council, I just want to talk about a situation that is facing every citizen that lives in the city limits of Washington. When I was on city council, we have a water infrastructure problem here in Washington. There's no doubt about it. As you can see, discoloration in the water. Last council meeting, I talked to Greg Fanning, and out of his words, out of his mouth, the city is losing about 400,000 gallons of water per day. He's saying that they can't even find where the water is coming from. And it's not a lack of what you all not doing. All I ask is this: your next CDBG grant that might come up, would you all write a grant for water infrastructure? That's the first grant I think that you all should write, because water is very, very important to the quality of life for our family, our children. And right now, me personally, I'm very uncomfortable of drinking the city water. Not to say that you all not doing what you're supposed to do, but I think it's time to really invest into our water infrastructure. If y'all can't do nothing else right, y'all should be able to get that right. And I believe, and close it, I know y'all can do that. Y'all can get that right. So y'all next CBDG grant, when they come up there, make sure it's for water infrastructure.
Thank you. Archie Acree.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I don't got too much to say, but I just want to say, first, giving unto God, who is the head of my life, the author and the finisher of all our faith. My thing is unity. Unity. District 1, District 2, unity. In order for Washington to be what you all call one Washington, for District 1 and District 2, majority of the people in District 1 is African American, the majority of the people in District 2 is Caucasian American. But for Caucasian American and African American to become one person and one in a whole, we must join together. So you must take 50% of this mind and 50% of this mind to make up 100%. And as long as we're not taking 50% of another person's thought to go along with your thoughts, we're never going to get anywhere. We're never going to accomplish nothing. Everybody say we want Washington to be this, we want Washington to be that. But if you don't take it to your mind and think about what other people think about, we'll never get nowhere. And it's always just fighting. So when you go to decide what you're thinking about, what you want for your people, think about what other people might want for their people. Oh, but you can take some away from your 100%, and you can put 50% of somebody else's, and then you still 50 and 50 equals 100. So you can take away some of your thoughts and actions and put somebody else's thoughts and actions, and they are still thoughts and actions. And you can take those things and we can become what we want. Is one Washington. All people is praying for is just a change. And the change, it starts with us. And it starts inside of us. You got to change your mindset if you are just stuck one way. And that's what we got to do. And if you don't know, I know everybody in here will probably go to church. You got to take your mindset and you got to say, I pray for you. You pray for me. And when we pray for each other, guess what? God will change things. Thank
you. All right. Councilman, if you'll look in your packets to all the authorities and reports, you got any questions on those?
I have a question on Park and Rec. Councilman Hill.
Yes, sir.
Told that Park and Rec give the Boston Club some money. How much more is it and why?
Councilman Colors, last week, Parks and Recreation had our approval of our budget, looked at our 2026 budget, 26 budget. It was voted.
to give the boxing group $10,000 for this coming up year. There was 6 votes. 2 did not vote for it. That was myself and Ed Gettings. The others voted to give the boxing group the $10,000 in this 26 budget.
Okay, do we pay the same amount that the county pay for Park and Rec? What's
No,
the-
no, sir, we
what's
do
the
not.
price?
I think it's about $10,000 difference.
15. I think it's
15,000.
15,000.
Yeah, 105 and
We're 125.
So
125.
we're paying more.
It's their building. From when I was on Parks and Rec, it's their building. They pay for the upkeep, maintenance of the building and the property, so.
That's the city building, they had to get a grant to do what they're doing, and that's no excuse. And that's the reason, so anybody else can come up there and get $10,000, Park and Rec?
There is not another sports entity such as Pop Warner, the cheerleaders, that gets that much money. And that was the reason that Mr. Geddon and I voted against it, to do that. We have, Pop Warner, 100 and plus kids in that program with cheerleaders and all, and they don't get $10,000 as our budget indicates.
How much do they get?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I don't have that, but I believe it's about 6,500, if I'm not mistaken. There's a certain, like the soccer gets certain amount, the cheerleaders get certain amount.
Okay.
And so there is no other group that gets $10,000 under Parks and Rec.
Now,
But it's all sports.
But this is, you're just talking about preparing your budget for 2026. So
Yeah.
Parks and Rec will have to bring that budget to us, and then
Okay.
we can decide what money we give them. But once we give them that money, then it's your board's responsibility how to disperse that money. So,
Right.
yeah, so.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I know originally, back in, 2023, I think y'all voted to subsidize $20,000 to Parks and Rec, 10,000 to the boxing, and 10,000 for equipment, maintenance, and stuff like that. So, yeah, and so it's not a guaranteed thing, so we just need to make sure your board knows
Correct.
that. So, yeah, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. And just one other piece on that, Councilman
Yes,
Cullors, Parks and Rec, we kind of trying to update our equipment, grass cutting equipment and things of that nature, so that's been real good. Our city administrator, thank you so much for making sure that, we stay up to date with our equipment. However, we are concerned, I am, just to close that, Councilman Cullors, I am concerned. So as we begin our 26 budget conversation, I will relay that to the committee and to our administrator.
And one thing, and then make sure I'm right on this, that's not unusual for the breakdowns to be different across sporting events, and types of sporting events. The question comes is, I think they had a long drawn out session on it, what's producing outcomes, I think is what they were going with, and that's how they came to that.
Yeah.
At least that's what I was told.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I alerted the mayor and the administrator that we've been asked to start conversations with our different committees, and that's what I've been doing. And so that's how that all came about.
All right. Any other questions? All right, moving into the city attorney discussion items.
Mayor and Council, the first item before on, that I need some direction on is the city has been approached by Stagg, Louisa, and Carruthers and Mitchell to participate in a class action lawsuit. Some time ago, a settlement was reached between several cities and counties throughout the United States with DuPont and 3M related to the presence of PFAS, which is I think commonly referred to as a forever chemical that's in water systems. You are not necessarily eligible to participate, but this offer is for sampling to be done of your water to determine whether or not the chemicals exist. If they do exist, then we would allow these attorneys to make a claim against the funds that have already been set aside that would be used to both remediate that problem and improve your water infrastructure. It is a no-risk obligation, so if we do the testing and our water does not have the presence of these chemicals, then there's no cost to the city, and that's the end of it. If, as a result of the testing, there are chemicals found, then these attorneys will make a claim against the already set-aside funds. The name of the law firm is in your packet, but essentially, y'all would be one of several cities in the state of Georgia that will be looking to see if their water has the presence of these chemicals. We have until the end of the year, but I would suggest that we go ahead and approve this contract. And once again, there's no cost to the city. If it were to come back clean, then that's the end of the relationship. If they find the chemicals, then they'll make a claim on our behalf.
Need a motion on it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Colors.
Second.
Second by Councilman Hill. Any further discussion?
Discussion.
Yes.
There's no cost to the city unless.
No cost to the city. If as a result they find the chemicals, then they will move forward on the claim. And these are funds that are already set aside, so it's not like we got a long, drawn-out process.
All right.
One question also, Mr. Mayor. Adam, have you had this type of case or this type of request before? And what are your professional?
So not on the city side, but on the county side,
Okay.
several of my clients have participated in the opioid settlement. It sounds to be very similar.
Okay.
And essentially what that is that in the opioid settlement, the manufacturers of opioids have been ordered to pay, in some cases, billions of dollars into a fund that the counties have been able to make claims against to then try to remediate the spread of opioids in their communities. Same kind of concept. I would do it. And when they approached the city, I also asked them to talk with my other clients for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Because again, you may not have anything in there. I think it's worth looking since there's no cost.
Being that one of our residents just talked about that a little bit, and I think that would be very beneficial.
There's a lot of information in the public right now about these chemicals. I don't know the long-term effects, but my suggestion would be if we can remediate that and make our water system better as a result, I think we should do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any further questions? Call for a vote. Councilman Fisher? Approve. Councilman Hill?
Approve.
Councilman Gunner? Councilman Colors?
Approve.
Approve. All right. All right. What else you got to add?
I appreciate adding the second agenda item, Mr. Mayor and Council. It has been alluded to in public comment, and it's something that my office has been working on the past couple of days. At the general election of this year, Councilman Anderson, Councilman Colors, and Councilman Hill were standing to be back in front of the voters. Under Georgia law, there is a requirement that qualifying for those offices be held from beginning August 18th. I can't explain why exactly, and we as a council need to have a discussion on this as a personnel matter, in executive session later, but the qualifying did not take place in August. We did have qualifying for the special election to fill Councilman Mahoney's vacancy, but we have not qualified for the general election. I don't mind telling you that Georgia law does not have a provision in place within it for what happens in these scenarios, at least not a specific answer. So we reached out to the authority on elections in Georgia, the Secretary of State's office, and they've advised to move forward with qualifying and to hold the election at the same time. Qualifying now is set for September 22nd and to run until Thursday. So that would be September 22nd and would run until September 25th.
Attorney, how is that possible and people don't know? How you gonna get folks to run that quick?
So I believe your municipal,
Isn't there a provision where they do just like they're doing the special election here, they have to do it in December? So how are we gonna do this quick? And
So-
I hadn't got that same information, so I don't know. We
So-
got that in right?
Georgia law, well, I can show you our information with the Secretary of State's office. But Georgia law allows for qualifying to take place 25 days prior to an election on a special election. And under Georgia law, you only have certain days you can hold a special election. One of those is the same time as the November election. I will tell you, there is not a provision in the law that says here's what you do when it didn't happen. So we are, in consultation with the Secretary of State, coming up with the best solution possible. I don't mind telling you that this is the first time I've seen this, and I don't know exactly how it's going to come out. I would tell you that reading the laws and seeing the intention, you would still have qualifying within 25 days of the date of election, which will be allowed for special election. But again, you got to remember, the law doesn't say what you're supposed to do. So we're in consultation with the Secretary of State's office, who would be the entity to ultimately rule on this.
Okay, then, so, in other words, the clerk was supposed to be the one to make sure everything went smoothly about the November election. Is that what I'm getting? Because how did we miss this date, Administrator?
So we didn't miss the date. If, it was posted, well, I mean, laugh if you want to, but it was posted, and then we had the situation in the meeting where we decided to vote to do a special election. Remember, they voted the first time to have the seat, the Phil Macio's seat in November. It was how they had left it, that original meeting, and then we came back the next meeting. It got put out, and then they changed it when we did the special election. So they put it after that announcement. Whether that was done incorrectly or correctly, I guess is what we're talking about now. So it wasn't actually missed, but I think there was some miscommunication about what should be posted, what shouldn't be posted, how it should be posted. And I know that the two entities between the county and the city were talking to one another and trying to figure out what should be posted and when it should be posted.
Well, the county has nothing to do with it. We take our stuff to the county to post.
Right, we post it
So
now.
my question is, who changed the date and why? Because I have a file that the mayor put up, and it's not his job. You as administrator supposed to be running the city. So I don't know how this, who's coming up with all this?
That was given to me by Yoshi herself the morning
Yoshi
I came
gave
in.
it to you?
Yeah, the
So who
morning.
changed the dates?
That,
Without the council approval?
that's what she said she came up with when talking to the Board of Elections and the state, so.
But in order to run an election, we still had to approve what's going on, and we didn't do that. So I'm not with approving no election to go in September. We can do a special election in December, but I'm not gonna approve this.
Mr. Mayor.
So just for the record, real quick, from the way I understand it, the clerk sets the dates. It doesn't come before the council, and the city attorney can tell me if I'm wrong or right on that. That's not voted on by the council. That's set by the clerk. And so that's not something that would come before the council.
The November election is already set.
So I'll say this, under Georgia law, city clerk serves as municipal superintendent for city elections. There are some dates that are set by the law, but there is not a scenario, there's nothing in the statutes that tells you what happens when qualifying doesn't take place.
Correct.
So, to some extent, I cannot tell you with a straight face that we aren't stepping out on an attempt to get within the law, and that's why we contacted the Secretary of State's office.
Right.
But it is not a black letter answer, which unfortunately in law is not that uncommon. But our assumption is, the reason I'm doing this, and I think the reason Councilman Hill discussed it, is that we want to try to get as much information out as we can about qualifying. Right. That's why the newspaper ad went up. I think I'm not speaking for the mayor here, but I believe that's why the information went out. And again.
So this been announced 2 weeks
That's-
already?
that's what I'm
Been in the
gonna-
paper 2 weeks already?
We've already put this in motion.
I believe this has been
I'm sorry,
advertised.
Councilman,
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
Mayor, thank you. So the information that's been put out, I did receive a copy of that. So it's already been put out for those dates?
I believe that is correct as of last week.
He just said
Now,
it's
we
not
missed-
in the paper.
No, it's been submitted to the paper. I know it's been submitted.
Okay, so we missed the set date.
Correct.
I want to go back to that. We missed the set date. Question number one on that is why? And I guess
I think
through
that's,
you,
I think
through
that's
our
one of the
administrator, because the
reasons.
administrator is the one that runs the day-to-day operation of the city.
I think that's one of the reasons we do need to discuss an executive session.
Okay.
Certainly.
Okay.
But I say that because I acknowledge that there are going to be council members and members of the public that have questions about that.
Right.
I think it's, to be fair to your employees, you need to discuss that in executive session first, and then we'll move forward after you guys have had an opportunity to discuss that.
Councilman Cullors, I agree with that, moving it to executive session, but I also think that the citizens of Washington who had intentions to run for public office need an explanation and not just wait 2 or 3 hours, 9 o'clock tonight, to sit here and wait for an answer. I think you deserve an answer to know why a set date was dismissed, overlooked, or whatever the case may be. And we need to move forward with that quickly.
So, and that's exactly what I just said a minute ago, was trying to address that point. Yes, the date was set, it was announced, and then when we come back in for that vote, the dates are in my brain's going to break here, but, so what happened is when they came with that special election vote, in that following meeting, after saying we weren't going to do one, the dates all got jumbled up, because they were thinking that we had to have the qualifying for the special before the general. And so what happened is somewhere in there, the dates got mixed up and jumbled up, because they thought that it had to be after.
Well, what happened, I'm sorry, Mr. Administrator, even if those dates mush together or jumble up or however, still the council and mayor has a responsibility to be notified. And what I always do is contact either one, Councilman Colors, and ask these questions. So if 2 dates was on top of each other or a week apart, we still deserve the right, all of the citizens deserve the right to know when the advertised date or when the scheduled qualifying date. So I understand what you're saying, but I just agree that something in here is dropped the ball, but I concur with our council, Councilman Colors, but the citizens need to know what happened.
I agree, and that's why I'm trying to say what actually happened. There was no ill intent that was ever made there.
No.
And just so we know, we want it to be, when it was being discussed and it got brought up, the dates all got moved around because of the special election. That was the whole thing behind it. We want a fair election, and that's what was trying to be done. There was nothing, no thought behind it. We didn't even know who was going to qualify for the special. So.
And thank you. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So, Councilman Hill, my suggestion would be at the end of the meeting that we work on a press release of sort in an attempt to have the media explain how we got to, and especially make sure we know the qualification dates moving forward. So, and that's what I'll be asking for at the end of executive session. But again, obviously, I think you guys as a council need to discuss that first before we move forward.
Yeah.
All right, so anything else? Okay, all right. City Administrator.
You signed up to speak, just to let you know, but you skipped over. How convenient, Bruce Bailey.
I didn't see him.
You didn't see him. Did you not read?
Please exit. Please exit.
My constitutional rights, sir.
Do you see his name on there? I don't see his name on there. All right, moving forward.
All righty, back to some real business.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Back to some real business. Okay, so. Are we ready? Is everybody ready? Okay. All right. So, we have, back in February, when we talked about House Bill 581, I think everybody that was here probably remembers me standing up and talking about it. And the council, you guys voted on going and enrolling in the 581, saying yes to that. Y'all all approved on that. What this is step 2 of that process. We have a intergovernment agreement with the county to go ahead and have it put on the ballot for the SPLOST, or FLOST, F-L-O-S-T, to be collected to fund that House Bill 581. That's where we're at now, is the agreement to put it on the ballot. And this would be the terms.
Refresh my memory, House Bill 581.
That's the homestead bill so what'll happen is, for just a real quick rundown, that's the bill where your property taxes would get a rollback based off of the sales taxes that were collected. So for city residents, if any money we collect goes past the village, or the tax digest, excuse me, my words are stumbled tonight, the tax digest, then you would then, that money would then take your property taxes down to zero, and then anything left over would kick up to the county, and then your county roll back on your taxes would come down as well. So for your property tax, so any primary residence, that does not include businesses, it does not include apartments and all your multiple homes, that doesn't include that, but primary residences, it does affect. It's a win-win across the board. If you notice in here, I have one of my second topics is gonna be millage rate. That's another thing we've gotta get, moving on. So all of that plays into effect because you still have a millage rate because you have industry and other non-qualifying homes, right? So when that happens, we're gonna have to then, apply the millage rate to those. However, I do know that millage rate would then change a few years down the road when we figure out what the actual, digest we need. So that'll move a little bit, and we'll be able to know that in probably, I think we would collect this and Janet tried this, I may be wrong with this, but it would start in 2026 and it would roll back in 2027, correct?
That's right.
And that's kind of where we would go with that. So that's what this is. It's just an agreement with the county to go ahead and get it on the
Got it.
vote.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Got a motion? Can I get a second?
Second.
Second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Colors. Any further discussion? Call for vote. Councilman Fisher? Councilman Hill? Councilman Gunner?
Approve.
Councilman Gunner? Approve. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Will.
All right, thank you. Next on the list, we have the millage rate. So the proposed millage rate, when we came, I think it was 3 months ago, we talked about, we left it where it was at, just in the digest in. When it came back, we talked with Lisa, went over things. The proposed millage rate would be 8.32, which is an increase of 0.48% after the rollbacks that's already calculated in. That would be what we would be saying we need to reach our budgetary needs at this time. Just keep that in mind. It actually doesn't, we don't do our millage here based on what we actually need to operate, which is kind of unusual. I find it unusual, but we don't, but I understand why. It keeps our taxes relatively low. So that's just where we're at. So I'd love to have a motion to accept this 832 millage rate.
So move.
Got a motion by Councilman Colors. Second by Councilman Hill. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. Councilman Fisher?
Approve.
Councilman Hill?
Approve.
Councilman Gunner?
Approve.
Councilman Colors? Approve. All right. Move forward.
All right, next on the list, travel policy. I know Reverend Hill and myself, we talked a little bit. Also, we got some names mixed up, by the way, y'all. We got Gunner, I just noticed that. So Councilman Gunner as well was there. We talked a little bit about this last meeting, travel policy. So the one concern that I knew Reverend Hill had was on the back where we were talking about lodging expenses. What I did was I just went in and deleted out that dollar amount. And the reason why I did that for full transparency was because anything that they're booking should be coming through the city anyway. We're booking it for them, so it's kind of a moot point. I can't think of any time y'all have ever traveled where you didn't book it through the city.
That's correct, and that's the way it's always been, so
Yeah.
I don't know why we're changing the travel policy
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, and it's really not a change. It was just putting in words what we were already adhering to. But it's up to y'all. If y'all don't want to do it, that's, purely y'all's decision.
I suggest
May
the
I-
travel policy like it.
Yes.
May I
Go ahead,
add, Mr.
Councilman
Mayor?
Hill.
We also contacted our District 7 person, Mrs. Sherry Bailey, along with some other cities that we have forged relationships with, Stockbridge and so forth, those other, Ackworth and so forth. And they provided us with their travel policy. And some of this is real good for us, and some of it need to go in file 13. But we've done our due diligence in terms of making sure that we had information to bring back to the council, which that's what we was earmarked to do.
Yes.
To do that. And so definitely, I think that, we can use some of this to put forth the policy. I think that we need to make sure we do that.
And that's what I was actually speaking to Councilman earlier today. We talked about it. I tried to pull from all those, because I'd seen those too, and I tried to pull the things that were applicable to our city and make it mesh together, work right, and that's kind of what I was trying to do there. But like I say, if y'all,
Yeah.
we can go with however y'all want to move forward with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
So,
Do we
Councilman,
have to move tonight on this? my suggestion is, again, council members were supposed to sit down and talk about this, so we have this information. Let's make sure before our next meeting, we get with the administrator and pull out from these here pieces that are good and put it into our policy and then submit it at our next meeting.
And I gave Will a task of coming up with a retreat sometime after this special election.
Right.
So we can bring the new council member up to date. So we'll be looking for that date. We can discuss it there and then bring it back to next month if you want to.
Good.
Is that
Okay.
good? Okay.
Because there's a lot of good information in
Yeah.
here
Yeah,
in
there
these
is.
different cities.
Okay. Yeah.
I
All right.
agree.
All right.
All
Good.
right, moving on. So as you walked in, some of you may have noticed there's a little brief little one pager talking about PPAC. On your electric bill, it says PAC. Okay? What that is, there's been I don't know where the confusion has come in because everybody said, oh, it can't be explained. Well, that's not true. It can be explained. Okay? Basically, the way to look at that is that's adjusted rate based on what it costs to generate the power. Power is generated using commodities. The commodity rate changes. So what an entity does is they go out and they buy power at a wholesale or at a dollar rate. When they buy that power, the reason that you have a positive and not a negative is because we didn't pre-charge you. So like, I'll use Georgia Power for example. Georgia Power, you can do a fixed flat rate. Well, it never changes, right? So your bill is $650 all year long. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes, back and forth, depending on what your rate, your usage is, okay? So the reason why that's in there is it's so that we can keep your bill from being, and I know this is laughable when I say this, what I'm fixing to say is laughable, because trust me, I have a huge power bill as well. But you have to remember, we don't just pay power in the city. It's all of the things included in it. So you have a bunch of base charges that are in there, right? So you have your garbage, your trash pickup, your debris pickup, so forth, so on, water, sewer, so forth, so on. So the reason that PAC is the way it is it tries to level out your bill. Now, yes, I've heard some rumors that there's never a negative. It's never been a negative. I even argued with Councilman Anderson about it. He came in there to see me and had all his bills, and I finally found one. I said, here's your negative. And so there has been negatives. But to be honest with you, if it's a negative, it means they did a poor job. Because that means they billed you more than they should have. That means you paid way more than you should have. Instead of them floating the money, you floated the money, right? That's the way you want to look at that. So that's just a brief thing there. So I'm gonna come back to the water update. I'm gonna do it last, just because it's gonna be a lot more to talk about. Andrew Drive update. It has been a task beyond task. The proverbial can got kicked down the road for many years, and it's time to fix it. If we don't fix it now, we're looking at somebody really getting hurt. So it's now a safety issue, okay? So the bid process has gone out. I think there's 8 contractors that are bidding on it currently. I had hoped that I could call it an emergency and we could get it done without a bid process, but that's not fair to the taxpayer, okay? So pull back on that. I wanted to do it as quick as possible to get those trucks moving out of town. It was kind of a, double-edged sword, right? So right now we're having to deal with that issue. I apologize for the delay. It's not that we're not trying. We had some issues with getting some real pricing. Just like I was talking about the power, commodities. Prices are jumping all over the place right now. So hopefully we should have some bids solidified by Friday and some work hitting the ground. Just so you guys know, put it inside the bid process that usually when you go to a big contract list, bids out 80% of it would be cost. We didn't do it this time. We did 40% cost, 60% cost, and then 40% was how quick. We're trying to make sure we need who can do it the fastest and get it in there and get started. So we wanted them to get, break ground and get to moving. But it's a complex situation there. So just so y'all know that. Russia Street.
Mr. Mayor, may I have a question on that?
Yes, Councilman.
Were you able to, I know at one time you was also seeking a grant for that. Were you able to get a grant, or how is that going to be paid for and how much it's going to cost?
So still are researching that. We've got a team that's actually trying to write a grant for us to get some money for that. I mean, just an easy number, say $1 million is what it's going to cost. I think it's going to really be more like $750,000, but $1 million is an easy number to throw out. So I know that we are in a good position to qualify for the grant that's out there. The problem is there's there's always terms, and to get qualified to move up the list is how much are you willing to pay. We offered 20% in like kind or in-kind services and a little bit of cash to try to get up that list.
Right.
That's kind of where we went with it. We don't know if we're gonna get it or not, but they did tell us if we went ahead and started the work before the grant, they would honor that as in-kind money. So we wouldn't be wasting any money, it's just concurrent.
Right, okay. All right, thank you.
But thank you, because I meant to say that and left it out, thank you. Russia Street, I know that they had started work, and I know the PO was cut this morning to finish up the work, so I know that I was told that the work will be done by Friday of this week at the latest. There were some issues where I think they were missing one post, and then there were the post covers that go on the top. Believe it or not, somebody thinks it's funny to steal those. So that has already happened. So we were trying to replace them, and then that project would be complete. One thing to remember, and this for the citizens, remember, when this thing is finished, it's your property. It's no longer, the city is no longer going to be responsible for it. So remember that, citizens,
So
to have that
you'll
fence.
send notice out to all the property owners that dealing with that fence, so they'll know, so we won't have no.
Yeah, we'll send something out, but yeah.
Also, the cleaning of it, they gonna clean the fence because soon.
That was not.
Well, that was a part of my comments that I was going to be making, but I'm glad you brought it up. And these are black and white copies, but it looked like we're using used materials that's been laying around somewhere. And as of Sunday, there was a lot of gaps and holes that are still in the fence. So I need to know, because I'm getting calls, which is right in the back of me. I'm getting calls from the residents. It just don't look good. I don't know if we have a crew that's working on it or one person.
It's not the city. We contracted that out.
That's why I say I don't know if it's a crew or one person that's working on it. But right now, it still looks very bad, and I got pictures too.
Well, and good. That's why at least let's just see what happens till Friday.
Where they getting
Then we come
material
back.
from?
They're buying them. I know we cut them a check for material costs. I know they're buying them.
That stuff used, ain't it?
Yeah, this stuff, some of the stuff they put up is used.
I don't know which picture and where that's actually at. I'd have to go look at it face to face, but that's, or when that picture was taken versus today.
We cut the
right?
check before they finished the job?
No, half of. the
No,
check
this was taken,
Labor and materials.
this was taken a couple of days ago.
Yes.
I also went to the museum. And so we got pictures from that, but this just don't look good in terms of what we promised the residents that we was gonna do.
Yeah, and we're not complete yet, so.
Yeah.
We're not done yet, so once we finish it, if it's not up to standard, then we can come back and address it.
I think in addition,
Yeah,
not to.
that's what I mean.
In addition, let's do Friday. Let's do Friday, just.
Yeah, they
ride
should
through.
be done Friday, so
Okay.
hopefully,
then
we'll
we can
ride
ride
over there and
through.
take a look.
Okay.
And since you brought up museum, that was on here too. So museum cleanup, all of you know how much rain we've had. It has been torrential. There's a bunch of guys in the back that drive some of this heavy equipment. They can tell you, you drive that equipment on that grass, we're tearing it up and rutting it up. That was why we put it off for so long, to get some harder ground in there so we get that heavy equipment on there. It was not as simple as going out there with a chainsaw and a shovel and chaining it up, digging it up, moving it. That's not that simple. We were out there today with a bulldozer. Okay, so we made some messes today even.
Yeah.
So even after all this time of waiting, we got everything pushed out to the road, and I know that suppose we'll come by in the morning and pick up all the piles. So, and we couldn't do it today because we had a truck that was down, but we got that fixed this afternoon. So we're gonna get the debris that's out by the curb that's piled up there this afternoon, tomorrow morning as a key. And then hopefully we should be able to go back in there and patch up some of the tear-ups that we made.
Yeah. And, Mr. Mayor, may I-
Yes, sir.
just one comment on that. The reason that I'm concerned is because, number one, I sits on the Historic Property Committee. And then we have visitors and tours coming through there. And I've been talking about this, which is in District 2. I've been talking about this for 4 or 5 months now, since the storm. And so I know that we get rain, that's true. But however, this has been going on too long. We need to make sure we take care of this.
And we are, thank you.
Okay.
Water update. So it's kind of a twofold topic here. I want the bad news first or the good news first? The bad news is we need to adjust base rates. Nobody wants to hear that. And everybody gasps and they're like, oh, my bill goes up. Not true. The reason we need to change the base rate is so that we look better on a liquidity standpoint. And the reason I say that is when we go out and start applying for these grants or any kind of federal income or help for this, we got to look better. Just to throw a number at you, taking the base rate change from where it currently sits, our valuation is about a $2.8 million business. If we raise it by 30%, it takes us up to somewhere close to 3.6, some in that ballpark. So you can see just with a little bit of increase, how drastic it changes our liquidity and the way it looks moving forward, especially to financial people. So when we go into that, that's why I'm bringing that up about base rates. It's just something we need to think about. Doesn't have to be done today at night, but this council needs to really think about it. When you look at the base rates, you guys haven't gone up on it in 12 plus years, maybe even 16 years. So it's $5 for debris pickup. Name a city anywhere that picks up your debris from your road for $5. That piece of equipment, that one piece of equipment is $216,000. So, and two people ride it. So start thinking about the cost there. So that's just something to think about on the financial side of the water issue. It's a way we can start generating and thinking about how to be approved for some of these grants, some of these federal loans, so forth, so on. We had a meeting with Georgia Rural Water. We know, if you recall, probably, I guess it was also in February, it may have been in January when I stood up here and talked about the water system. I told you all we were losing 400,000 gallons a day. I even spelled it out in dollars how much money that was. We went through the whole scenario. So we know about it, and I've been looking for it. I walked in the door in November. I didn't get computer access till December, actual access, okay? December, we started working on budget. We all got a thrown together budget together. It's not perfect by no means, it's thrown together. But we got it passed and we're working, and we're keeping the city afloat and running. January, I started looking at P&Ls from departments. I'm like, why are we losing money in the water department? It should not, we're billing for it. We're charged, it's a service, right? So we're charging people. You know, I like probably Mr. Yoshi sitting out there. I mean, he knows, he's at the water plants. We're charging for that water. Why are we losing money? Why is it not at least breaking even, right? Well, come to find out, that's how I realized that we're losing 400,000 gallons a day. And everybody's like, where's it going? Where's it going? Where's it going? Well, so we do have some idea of where it's going. We know of about, I mean, what, I can't remember, at least over 100. There's over 100 leaks that we were working on fixing. And that was it was a work in progress. It's like taking a bite out of an elephant, right? Doesn't happen quick. We got to take a little while to devour that big animal. The problem that what's happened is that's not the only problem. You got issues where you have 70-year-old pipes in the ground. I mean, y'all, we start breaking down at 70. I mean, I'm 47 and I'm breaking down. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to remember that's going on way before any of us even thought about water. Now, the scary thing is this is not a cheap fix. The pipe, so if y'all recall, we got a grant, I think it was the 2023 grant, that was a water grant to go out. Just so y'all know, that rules on that grant, how we can spend that money, is ever evolving. It is like, it changes every other month due to federal guidelines. And it is the wildest thing ever. Currently right now, what they're letting us do is we're coming out to your meter and we're putting about a 3-inch pipe in front and one in the back. And it's, if it's not PVC grade piping, if it's, you know, if it's your, I'm losing my brain here. If it's like your lead piping and that kind of stuff, that's what we're swapping out. So that's not a big fix when you consider the water running to your house and that brown water started 20 miles away or 15 miles away, right? So we're not really fixing anything. We're just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it. What Georgia Rural Water gave us a bunch of steps, and thankfully Greg and the water team had already started a lot of these steps. We know that we need to put new perks in the water towers. We know that we need to do certain little things that we're already doing. We know there's water that overflows in those water tanks. Don't ask why. The same answer I'm going to get when I ask that why. We're not sure. Now, what that is there's a sway and the sway spills over. That's really what it is. But from all those little things, we're finding out, I mean, we have 17 lift stations. 17, y'all. And I think that oh, Lord, they're aging, they are over, in 1974 was the last actual infrastructure change that was made. 74. Most of us aren't even that old. Okay, so when you think about that, we've got some fixing to do, and we know it. What I'm proposing, we have 50% galvanized piping in the ground still, we know, that we think we know of. There could be some more, we may even still have some wood pipes out there, for those of you that are old enough to remember those. There may be some, I don't think there is. But you have to remember, this is going to require dedication and commitment from the people, first and foremost, and then from this entity up here. This is not going to be easy. This is a 15 to 20-year plan, spending $100 million at minimum. And the only way to get that money is the way I'm telling you, as far as, yes, we can apply for grants. But remember, when you apply for a grant, you don't get to dictate how you spend that money. They tell you how to spend that money. We know what we need to fix first. We need to start working on laying new piping coming in. Also running from, think about it, also the piping from the lake where we pull the water in. That pipe is old. We've had some exposed for a while. So there's a lot of problems out there. But that's where we got to go with it. But it's going to take a commitment from the citizens, council, and all of us alike, because this is not small, and it's going to be big. I propose we start setting money aside for it, so that when we can go out there and try to match, to borrow money against our own money, that would be the best way to do it. Try to get something with, if the government will give us a 0%, they will. We're working with Crystal, what's the lady's name? I'm drawing a blank, from Warsaw, Ossaw's office.
Maria Cook.
Yeah, Maria Cook. I know Maria's working diligently with us. She is trying her best to get us to talk with some programs to help us out. Councilman Fisher he's made it his personal goal. Trust me, he talks to me about water more than I ever want to talk about water. It's a big deal and we know it. I drink the same water. Look, that's all I drink is water, y'all. And I drink it right out I come in there and twist it, turn it on, no filter. I've been doing that for 8 years. Okay, so I'm with you. I drink the same water. But we got to figure out how to do it, how quickly to do it, and how dedicated we want to be as a community for this. Because it's going to take however y'all do it. We can do it quick. It's going to take a lot of money. So that's the order update.
Right. Yeah, and as former Councilman Tutt discussed earlier, this has been an ongoing problem. It's, something that when we came into office, we immediately started looking at it, and we're trying to come up with the best plans and move forward. So, but like he said, $100 million is a lot of money. So where does that money come from? We're reaching out. I personally contacted Maria Cook and talked to her. I got her and Crystal talking. So I think we need to, definitely listen and think about what we need to do in the future. One of the things that you see on Facebook a lot is people with brown water, all these things. Remember, we get the water to your house, and then it goes from our meters to inside your house. I don't have brown water at my house, but I've had it in the past. I usually let it run for a few minutes. Most of the time, it'll go away. If you have brown water, it may mean that we need to come and flush the system near you. So, just reach out, put it on Facebook and saying, hey, Bruce Bailey, contact us about this, or I don't get on Facebook like that anymore. So, I'm not, unless you personally tag me, I really don't see it, and the councilmen don't see it either. So call City Hall, even after hours. You'll leave a number or leave a problem. They'll do a work ticket for you, and we'll try to get the lines flushed. We'll try to get you cleared up as quick as possible. Any problems that you have, we do have a 3277 at City Hall. It rings to a service after. They put a ticket in. The person that's on call for that department should get paged, And if it's, urgent or emergent, they'll come out right then. If not, then we'll start out the next morning and start working on stuff. A lot of the things that the city administrator and the city clerk and each department head does every morning, they go in, look up in Edmonds and see exactly what type of service calls are needed or what kind of problems were reported the night before. And that takes time, but they know who to dispatch and get those patients out or get those people out there for you. So make sure that you're contacting 3277 and give them the information so that way they can put in a ticket for you. Contacting, Will or contacting me or contacting Councilman Cullors or Councilman Hill, we have to go through that same process too. So we'd have to contact the city and say, okay, I need to put in a work order request for this residence. So just do that for us and help us. All right, anything else, Will?
One last thing, I'm sorry, I meant to say this earlier. Just so everybody is aware, that PPAC rate that I was talking about, the city, we haven't adjusted it up it hasn't been adjusted up since 2019. That's just a tool, a mechanism that city administrators have to go in there and try to generate some income to cover some costs if we're falling short on some line items. I don't know if the past administrators ever said it that way, but that's what the tool is there for. However, we haven't adjusted since 2019. If anything, it's come down since 2019. So just it started, I think the highest was 0.35, and we've come down to 0.025 currently. So, I meant to say that earlier.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just one other question for the administrator. May I?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay. Also, in your last report, it was the group that came and did a presentation last month, I think it was, last month. And so what are our current look at that? Because we had 3 council members who agreed to go ahead and at least ask for a proposal or cost.
So we've got the cost. I put it in your guys' boxes like 3 or 4 weeks ago. The cost is going to be the package that if we did it, we would want to go probably with the 3-year service package, and I think it's somewhere around $56,000, and that would be a total redesign of the city website. And that those who've been to every meeting have heard me say this at the very beginning. We have to control our narrative and our story. Right now, our website is nothing but a billboard that sits there and looks at you. Yes, there's some subtle changes on it currently, because I've been doing them myself here lately. I'm not in web design. I can do it, but I don't like to do it and I don't want to do it. However, this company, yes, it would be an investment. However, it would give us control that we don't currently have. Plus, they would come in, teach the staff how to maintain it, and then give us support for 3 years. But like I say, I think that the base was like 32,000, 40-something thousand, and 56,000 with the 3 years.
I'm sorry, Mr. Administrator, I did not see that in my box. And as you see, I got a lot of paper going on here, but I think that 56,000, that's okay. Is in there?
I think it's in this one.
Okay. Are you comfortable with that 50? Okay. Are you comfortable with this cost to get started? Because again, our website speaks a lot to who we are as a city. And I don't know you said that you currently do it, and I know that's another task that you got among trying to find water. So what are your recommendations? Do you feel comfortable moving forward with this?
So I've had several phone conversations with them, and yes, I feel comfortable with the knowledge base and the ability that company possesses. Just go before y'all, if y'all want to move forward with that, I'll be more than happy to enter into contract with them.
Yeah.
I've seen her work. I stand by her work. Her work's great work.
Yeah.
I do know that she had a team that was dedicated to this one project. I don't know if that team is still intact, but maybe it may not be.
Yeah.
But either way, that's up to her.
Mr. Mayor, I really think that we got to try to move forward and get some things done, and that is a good start. I make a motion that we allow the administrator to move forward, making sure that we get the best bang for our dollars and getting some help to our website.
Okay.
So
got a motion?
that's my motion.
Second, Councilman Fisher. Any further discussion? All right, call for a vote. Councilman Fisher? Councilman Hill? Councilman Gunner? Councilman Colors?
You see, it's your flag.
Approved?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we'll we'll start it on that tomorrow.
For 1 second, I need to throw a rider in. We need to bond that work.
That's what I'm saying. You know, Mr. Administrator, you know how to move forward with this.
I just want to make sure.
And
we
that's
got
all
it.
that's what I always say.
Okay.
We follow your lead.
Thank you, thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor, could you
Yes,
give
sir.
us an update on the sign?
Yeah, good, thank you. So, in the last meeting, the council voted to change the name to the City Hall complex to the municipal complex.
Willie Burns
Willie
Complex.
Edward Burns Municipal Complex. I've already talked with a company, have a rough draft sign that we could get put in place quickly. But if we want to do that, I can move forward getting something up quick. Or I contacted after you and I talked. I mean, I agree with Councilman Colors. I think that the sign should look just like the one at the senior center looks, with the brick backing with the letters across. It's going to take a little more time. We wanted to get it up before or by November. I don't know if I can do that. I will try. If I can get somebody, I know JB's got a great brick guy, so maybe he can get him out here quick. But we need to talk about that because there's going to be some money there that y'all gonna have to tell me it's okay to use.
Right.
It's okay.
I've got two options there. We can do a quick one, or we can postpone it a little bit and do it right.
Yeah.
And I think
So
it needs
to
to be
do
done
it
right.
right, it's gonna take how long, you think?
It's going to be, I think if we can get a contractor out there that can get the brick, because that's another issue right now, finding brick. Don't ask me why that's hard, but it's expensive. The hurdle's going to be getting the letters made. So I got the dimensions of them and had them sent off today. So I'm trying to get it back from the company we sent it to see how quickly they can get the letters made. If they can get them made quick, I don't see any, it doesn't take that long to lay brick. And then we only have to do, 2 or 3 brick wide and then 10 foot long.
Yeah.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we put this up into the administrator's hand to take care of this either before November or however he think it's gonna take to do the sign. That's my motion.
All right, got a motion?
Second.
Second with Councilman Hill. Any discussion? Councilman Fisher? Approved. Councilman Hill?
Approved.
Gunner?
Approved.
Good. Thank y'all.
Do your thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving forward. Councilman discussion topics. Councilman Colors.
Mayor, I'm gonna save my topic because I wanna go into executive session about this election, so all my topics will be put on for October.
Okay. All right. Councilman Hill?
Okay. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the opportunity. Most of my topics have been talked about already. Thank you, Mr. Administrator, for making sure that that was taken care of, those reports and updates. But there are two still concerns that I have, and this body, for the last this is the 9th month, so the last 9 months, this body have been refusing the funds to 2 agencies that we had approved. The city,
Hey, Councilman, this is discussion topics. We haven't got to action items yet, sorry.
okay,
So city travel policy.
the travel policy has already been taken care of.
Recommendation request about a mayor and council to discuss possible
Okay.
projects or plans with
Recommendation.
Councilman Gunner. I don't know what that's about, so.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit in terms of the Gordon Street when Fisher and I met with the administrator.
Okay.
Yeah. So request an update from the city regarding Russell Street. He's given us that.
What about the Councilman Gunner, this, topic B, what was that?
B,
Mhm.
recommendation to the mayor and council, the possibility of a project. Okay, and that, where we met with the hope that we could talk about economic development, and we brought up, when I brought up the motion or the thoughts of Gordon Street and the partnership that are already going on. This is something that's been going on for the last 5 years. This is the old theater that Councilman Mahoney had proposed. So for the last 5 years, we've been talking about how economic development can look and where we can start. So there's already a conversation going on with the URA, and our administrator is leading that conversation. And we're just about to the place where he's going to be presenting some designs or presenting some projects that we can get started on. However, the city, this body need to look at, we have had for the past 15 plus years, we got 17, 18 acres sitting over there. And then on Russell Street, we have 4 lots that are still there that are vacant. So we have the opportunity for economic development. This body just got to make sure we go ahead and do it. Half of this body is saying they don't want to do anything with Gordon Street. We had $360 plus $1,000. I'm sorry, $600 plus $1,000, and we have all this land, and we refused to go ahead and start the process of economic development. So when that conversation came up, it seemed like it just went south. But I still think that Gordon Street property and this body should work together, continue to work together, and find a way to start economic development in the city. And Gordon Street is not just for District 1. Let me say that real quick, Mayor. Gordon Street is not for just District 1. This could be an economic vehicle, which at that time Mayor Willie Byrne created for it to be economic development for our community. But it could be development for the whole city if we do it and do it right. But District 2, and I'm going to call it District 2 council members, we just got to go ahead on and do it. That property is sitting there and nothing is being done. And going back into the other piece, for the last 9 months, we gave, and our attorney said that we can enter into contract, but we're holding the money back from URA, and they can be moving forward with those ideals. So that's how that conversation.
Okay.
We didn't get too far with that, did we, Mr. Gunner? No.
Okay.
And Mayor, again, this document here, I shared this with Will. This is what Councilmember Mahoney had proposed with the amphitheater 5 years ago. And we say that we want to support and recognize his name and in the legacy that he left. What better way to figure out what we can do at Gordon Street to name something after Councilman Mahoney if we say we love him?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So that sounds great. So, so you and Councilman Gunner are going to be working on that. And,
We met with.
okay.
Will.
Yeah, I'd like to get a copy of that when I get a chance. So yeah,
Okay, I'll get you a
I've
copy.
never seen that. So, but yeah, we do that. So, all right. Anything further on your discussion topics?
No, that's it.
Councilman Gunner.
All right, mine is a public apology to Jimmy Toto. At the August council meeting, several individuals stood up and spoke out about a city employee. Unfortunately, much of what was said was negative, unfounded, and without merit. Looking back, I realize now more should have been done to stop this in the moment of those comments. But hindsight is always clearer. This particular employee has a strong reputation, not only as a dedicated city employee, but also as a respected person and a contractor outside of city business. He did not deserve the ridicule and that he received, and I regret that it was allowed to continue unchecked. Moving forward, I believe this kind of situation, which we never had before, should never happen to any other employee or to anyone for that matter. If someone brings forward concerns that are pertinent to city business, these concerns should be investigated thoroughly and proven valid before any public accusations are made. We must do a better job that all individuals are treated fair, respectful, and to have dignity. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Fisher.
First, I want to thank Administrator Long for touching off what I had been holding very near and dear to my heart. When I first got elected, my major concern was water. Being an outdoorsman, I know you can't go long without water. So I went to the water department, and I was alarmed when I talked to Greg Fanning at the water department when he said that 400,000 gallons a day are unaccounted for. He didn't say leaking, he said unaccounted for. Obviously, if there was a 400,000 gallon a day leak, we would have a reservoir, we'd all be fishing and skiing, boating, but it's unaccounted for. So what that means is our entire water distribution, water treatment and water distribution system is so dilapidated that we can't even account for what we're doing. I was talking with Mr. Fanning, and I said, well, how often is this equipment inspected? He said the firm that used to do it no longer comes because all the equipment we have is outdated and they don't know how to evaluate it. It is so antiquated that it can't even be repaired. Those guys in the water department, they are working nonstop just to keep us on an even keel. And right now, we're sitting on our very next emergency. Right now, just 3 weeks ago, I saw there was a small town in South Carolina, their water system failed. Now, can you imagine for a moment, if you could, if we had to have all of our water shipped in and rationed from a central location? It's okay for drinking, but then you can't do your laundry, you can't wash your cars, you can't put out fires. That's the situation we're in. I asked Greg at the water treatment plant, what do we need to do to resolve this? He said, tear this whole thing down and build a new one. I said, okay, what's that cost? He said, it's simple, $25 a gallon. Our water treatment plant currently processes 1 million gallons a day. So that's $25 million just for the water treatment plant. I asked him about our water distribution. He said, anytime you're dealing with water at that level, it's $25 a gallon. So our water distribution is $25 million. I think Mr. Long was a little generous with his $100 million estimate. We're looking at $50 million for water treatment and water distribution. I don't think we can put new pipes in the ground for $50 million. This was something that I wanted to bring up and find out, how do we start getting this taken care of now? Where do we get the money for this? At best, 5 to 10 years to get this process through. We literally cannot wait that long. If we wait any longer, we're going to be out of water. Now, I know the quality of the water, according to the state, it is still drinkable, even though it may not look like that. But what we're looking at doing, as Mr. Long led to, is to improve our entire water system. Another thing that plays into that is right now, if a major industry said, we want to build a manufacturing plant in the industrial park and hire 50 people, you know we'd have to tell them? Nope, can't do it. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the water, we don't have the sewer, we don't have the power. We've got, didn't we discuss that, Mr. Long?
We talked about it.
Yeah. We have got to make adjustments in our infrastructure, as Mr. Tutt so eloquently pointed out. We've got to make adjustments in our infrastructure that we can attract industry. I mean, I'd love to have more jobs, but a job that hires 10 or 12 people really isn't helping. If any of you were here in the 80s and the 90s, you remember when the industrial park was wide open? People weren't looking for jobs. Jobs were looking for people because we had the ability to supply those industries. We don't have that same ability right now. That was what I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to help y'all understand that when we start doing this, it's not going to be cheap and it's not going to be fast. The best we can hope for is it'll be good.
And just to tie on to what he's saying, that he's talking about generated water, what we're actually treating. That plant's actually rated for 3 million gallons a day. So that price is even a lot lower than what we're all even thinking up here. But so just to give you an idea, and we also talked about wastewater before we got started.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to figure out what's going back. And so we did replace a bunch of meters, big meters, industry big meters that had never been, I don't know how long they were going untracked. Okay, so there were some meters out there that were running that nobody was tracking, but they're being tracked now. We're going out there and we're making sure that we're getting what we need to get out of it. So it's one of those things.
Mr. Mayor, just a
Yes,
comment,
sir.
please.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Long, you wasn't here then, but there was money that came down from the federal government that we spent 4 years ago, about, a little bit over 4 years ago for the treatment plant, and the pumps, and to do some things. 1.5, I believe Councilman Cullors, around 1.3, $1.5 million. I know Evangelist Fannin remember this because we made reference to that. We thought that the community should have got some of those dollars, but all that money went to buying pumps and other things. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because some of that was supposed to have been resolved.
So, like you said, I wasn't here at that time, but I do remember, and I talked to Greg about that. I know, there's a couple water people in the room here that know what I'm fixing to say, can attest to this. They went out and put in place they were gonna get these pumps. It's not so easy. It's not like we're going out there and buying a sump pump down the street. They're massive pumps. They put that money out there, put a bid on them, and it says it's gonna cost this amount of money to replace these pumps. Well, then, a year goes by, they can't get them. A year goes by, they can't get them. Don't forget, you guys, you had COVID too. Don't forget that. And then you got all these other hiccups that start happening. Next thing you know, boom, we might can get the pump this year. And so I mean, we talked about it one meeting, I think it was in January, we talked about another approval for another pump.
Mhm.
That's a part of that same grant. That has been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's something it's not an easy fix because we're retrofitting a lot of this equipment. These are massive pieces, massive pumps, and like Councilman Fisher referenced, on old equipment. So you got, you know, it's kind of like putting a Toyota engine in a Ferrari. That's what we're talking about right there. The money is there. I mean, it's there to be spent on those pumps. But the grants you can't just spend grant money how you choose. That's what I was telling you guys earlier. You can't go out and just spend, we got this grant for $5 million and we did it for infrastructure, now we're gonna build houses. It doesn't work that way. I mean, it might work that way and then somebody's going to jail, right? So that's not how that works. You get a grant for water, and water infrastructure and pumps has to be spent that way. Yes, there's a lot of different like the SPLOST and T-SPLOST and all these different things that we all think about that we can spend money on. It's spelled out very clear what we can and can't spend the money on. So know that going into it. And that grant, like I say, it was for the infrastructure at the water plant. I know they replaced, I'm speaking out of pocket here, but I think over half of the pumps. And they had a couple they were waiting on. But,
Okay, thank you.
All right. Action items, Councilman Cullors?
All mine will be October.
October? Okay. All right. Councilman Hill?
Action item for me, Mr. Mayor, I ask that we move forward with approving the funds for the URA, as well as 4E. We have led these.
Let's do one at a time.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
One at a time. One at a time.
One at a time?
One at a time,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. URA. URA has been working diligently, and for the past couple of months, we've been meeting with the city administrator, and we need to move forward with that. We're still waiting on some things and that relationship is getting better and better and better. But I think we need to go ahead and approve that money for the URAs, the $75,000.
So,
Make the motion.
well, hang on, that's what he's doing. So you got, I motion to approve the requested funding for the UR so they can hire a project manager?
No, I don't want to, I want to take that
So-
hire project manager out.
Okay, wait, restate your motion then, for the
Okay.
record?
I motion to approve the requested funding from URA so that they can move with the priorities outlined in the original request.
Second.
Okay, all right, so got a motion, a second, any discussion? Yes, go ahead.
Is there a set plan of what that money's gonna be spent for?
There is a plan, and they presented that
That's
to.
what we was working
Yeah.
on.
No, not we. They submitted a plan to the city when they submitted the budget back in January. And so I don't have a copy of that, but we do have a set plan for the URA.
Was there a lot of that was cleanup and all that?
It wasn't necessarily the cleanup part of that. I can't remember all of it, but
Weatherproofing.
administrative,
Weatherproofing was one line item, a couple other items.
The point is, we're putting a pot of money in for the URA. Now we're going back and forth from here. Either we're gonna vote for it or don't vote for it. We done went through this before, so the money's for the URA to use. And if they're using them properly, then we're gonna find out what they did with the money.
Is
So
Dr.
why are we
Johnson?
going over this again? So the motion's on the table.
is Dr. Johnson, I see the chairperson, where's Dr. Johnson? Oh, Dr. Johnson, please, could you just stand and tell us what those dollars, and I agree with Councilman Colors, can you please stand and tell us some of those priority items that we're gonna be moving forward with? And again, remember, we're meeting with the city administrator, so this is not like we're doing this by, the URA, let me say that, the URA are doing this by ourselves. We've been having 2 or 3 good meetings, so, Dr. Johnson, can you please come up?
He put you on the spot. I know that. I'm sure you are.
Good evening.
We met, I believe it was July 7th, is that correct, Mr. Warren?
I think that's right.
And we talked about, that we would start with the renovation of the gym, and we had some things in mind that we wanted to do with that. So those dollars would go toward that plan, and we did present a plan in writing. And we also had the help of Ms. Crystal Martin, who gave us some preliminary funding, what the cost, running costs, et cetera, and so forth.
Right.
So that's where we are so far. with
Yes.
Our collaboration.
Yeah, so that's why, I didn't know we were gonna get in this tonight, but what I did was, I took the plan that I had originally talked about, when I talked about a park and then the housing behind it, and having a good green space for the kids to play and that kind of stuff, a beautification area out in front, with the plan that they had brought, and I combined those two and meshed them together. We haven't gone back over that plan yet, because I was just talking to Bill about it the other day. We haven't presented that to each other yet. I got it to give to them, but we just hadn't done that yet. That was coming up,
Yeah.
so.
And the only reason, and we just really need to move forward to close out our documents for 2025, so.
Okay, any further discussion?
Administrator Long, do you have that plan put together?
I
Is it
have
possible that we
a-
can look at it before we vote on it?
Yes, I have a plan at City Hall, but again, that's what I'm saying. I meshed the two together to see if they would like it,
Okay.
because a lot of the contention in the room was what to do, how to do. The key questions are who, and who. Who pays for it, who runs it, who owns it, who maintains it. Those 4 who's make a big difference on how this plan gets approved or not approved, right? So, and this is hypothetical, but if one group says, oh, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and we retain all of it, then there's probably gonna be some kickback from this council. I don't know that, I'm just assuming. Now, if it's the other way around, I would assume the URA would give kickback. If I come in there and say, you're gonna pay for it, you're gonna pay for it, you're gonna pay for it, the city's gonna take it over, they're gonna kick back, the URA's gonna kick back. Right? So again, those are some questions that have to be answered, and that's what our next meeting was gonna be, is if we agree to this, who, and who.
Okay. Councilman, the part I like about this is, again, our administrator has demonstrated that he have the qualifications and the green light, per se, that if it gets down to point number 5 and we don't like it, he doesn't like it, he also have the pen where he can cut off the funding. But we do need to move forward with that under the leadership of our administrator.
Now, y'all are not a 501c3, correct? Y'all are, but is there fundraising going on right now?
We have fundraising with our alumni association.
With your alumni association? Okay, all right. So, So, all right, any further discussion?
So that doesn't have anything to do with the, because they're separate.
Right, okay, all right. Yeah.
And they are,
Any further discussion?
What's the amount we're talking about?
It's just the URA, funding for the URA.
75,000.
75,000.
Yeah. Would we do that as like a monthly stipend with reports monthly?
Monthly, yes.
Okay.
Again, under the direction.
Okay, under the direction of the city administrator. Okay. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. Councilman Fisher? Councilman Neal?
Approve.
Councilman Gunner? Councilman Colors? All right, motion passes. All right,
My last request, Mr. Mayor, again, we've been asking for this for our youth, and the URA have approved the 4E to use that old building over there and so forth, but the council have yet to move forward with the funding that was supposedly allocated with proof and so forth and so on to the 4E. Also, the city attorney said that the city can move forward with a contract under 4E and do those terms, and everybody agree on that. Again, as we talked about with the URA, the city administrator has the wherewithal and the power that if it doesn't go the way that this body designed and requests for it to go, the city administrator have the authority to cut the contract. And so I make a motion that we move forward with funding the the 4E group with the funding requested.
Second.
okay, motion is second. I mean, you keep mentioning URA with 4E.
I'm sorry, no.
Okay,
What I mentioned about that was the 4E, I mean, the URA at one time told the 4E, you remember the
yeah, that
big
blue building, yeah,
yeah.
that's uninhabitable right now.
But imagine what kind of thing could possibly happen when you get more youth over there in that area. Yeah, so.
Okay, any further discussion? Got a motion, second. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. Councilman Fisher?
No.
Councilman Neal?
Yes.
Councilman Gunner? No.
Yes.
Councilman Colors? Yes, okay. Yeah, my only concerns are, like I said, 501c3 funding, and then also, has the city administrator seen any of the financials or for them?
I haven't seen financials. I mean, I've seen their plans. She's complied with any of the requests, like as far as the changes that Maceo suggested in one of the meetings. She's brought those in and did comply with that, but I have not seen financials.
Yes.
I haven't looked at any of the books.
Yeah. And again, the city attorney have said that we can enter into a contract. I know that had been one thing about a 501c3, but he said as long as the terms are agreed upon and it is spelled out in the contract. So,
I think the key word was there, benefit, a service to the city.
that's what the mayor was mentioning also,
Yeah.
I think, in one of the meetings. And the kids, again, live here in the city of Washington.
So that was originally $60,000 for 12 months. So it was stipend it every month.
Yes.
And then let's relook at it for next year's budget and see where we want to go with 501c3s.
Well, also remember, Mr. Mayor, this body, Councilman Mahoney and District 2, council members requested that they go and develop a job training initiative. And they brought that back and submitted it to the city administrator. So they've complied to everything that has been asked. And I don't see, well, again, this has been a daunting task when it's very easy. Again, the administrator have the dollars, have the pen, and it will be up under his jurisdiction to say, you're not complying or you are.
Well, I'll vote to approve under the guise of city administrator will monitor that and report back to the council if any changes are needed to be made until we redo our budget for next year.
Okay.
All right. So,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. All right.
That's all I have. Thank you.
I did. I voted yes.
All right, so clarify that for me, because so did we approve, I know we did the URA, I'm good there, so did we approve the 60,000 for
E.
that's what approved?
Under the initiative of our
Okay, I just
administrator.
wanna make sure.
Guideline, yes.
Well, let's, 60,000 was the total year amount, so what we'll do is we'll start where we're at now and do that monthly stipend until the budget year next year. So that'll equal out to what's there.
You're not going to retroactive back?
No.
I understand, I understand.
No retroactive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So really, that's 15,000, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's 5,000 per month. I mean, if my math's right, I was just quick.
Okay.
I think. Y'all tell me, whatever y'all say, I'll do.
All right, so I'm going to change that vote to no on the original motion if you were readdress the motion,
Okay. The original,
the 60.
So he would vote for it to be allocated the rest of the year.
Okay,
So if
I got you.
moved to offer that amount.
Okay.
Then he's saying he would vote yes on that.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion that we look at the rest of the year funding for the 4E and what that number looked like under the guidance of our city administrator.
Okay, and I'll.
I don't have those numbers. I know he's saying about 5,000 a month, but
Yeah, roughly.
under the
Stipend
guidance
for
of our
monthly.
administrator
Okay.
moving forward.
All right, and I will approve that motion then. Okay, so we re-motion. All right. All right, no further business, no further action items. Yes, no, yes, no,
Yes.
yes, and I voted yes. With the renaming of the motion, so, okay? All right, at this time, we'll move in, can I get a motion to move into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session.
Councilman Colors, can I get a second? Second, go into executive session?
Second.
Second. All right. We'll adjourn to executive session.